So if you're looking for quality aftermarket parts that are direct fit the first time, think TRQ. Now we're going to go ahead and install this mirror on a Chevy Equinox. Let's go ahead and get started. To access the removal points, there is a trim panel right here, and there is a one further down right here. We're going to go ahead and start by using a trim panel removal tool. I'm going to access that right in this lower corner right here. This one here can be a little bit of a bugger to get to. And you can pop it off just like that. I'm going to go ahead and access the lower panel, like so. This upper screw is a 7mm. We'll go ahead and use our ratchet and extension here to go ahead and remove that. The two lower screws are 8mm. I'm going to go ahead and remove these here and set them aside with that 7mm. The next step is, I want to go ahead and pull this door panel off. And you can use a pry tool, something similar to this here. Get underneath the edge, you're going to want to pry out. Work your way around the trim. You're going to hear those plastic pins popping out and releasing. Follow both sides of the door so you can actually get that door to be loose. Coming up to the top, press your door lock button down inside. Reach around both sides of the door panel, pull away gently, and then straight up. So we're going to go ahead and grab this cable here and pull away, and it should pop out. So gently swing aside, and you can remove the cable with the ball end on there. The next component we want to remove is this bulkhead electrical connector. We're going to do so by grabbing this handle and gently pulling away. Once that's released, the bulkhead connector will come out. Underneath this little flap right here will be the connector for your power door lock. So what you want to do is grab a pry tool, maybe a screwdriver might work out for you, and just gently insert on each side. You want to release the locking mechanism so you can go ahead and pull that switch right out of the door. This can prove to be a little challenging. A little bit of work, you can get that removed. Disconnect the slide cable right here, a little retaining clip. Next, we're going to go ahead and remove the mirror trim panel from the interior. Do so by gently pulling out. I have the weather strip trim right there. You want to just go ahead and remove that to the point we have access to the bolts on the back side. And before we remove those bolts, we want to go ahead and disconnect this power cord here. Simple pin check connector right here, and separate that. The next step you'd want to do, you can use a removal tool or a screwdriver and get behind and pop that plastic pin that anchors that. Now that we have that connector removed, there's only 3 bolts you have to do or remove to take that mirror off. It's the upper one, lower, and the most forward one. All 4 of these bolts shown here do not have to come out. We like to remove the lower bolts first. That relieves any pressure from being applied from the mirror itself. Reach on the outside and go ahead and remove that last bolt. With the last bolt removed, you can simply go ahead and gently wiggle that mirror casing and guide that cable out. All right, now for the installation of this mirror. I'm going to start by taking that wiring harness and feed it through the port on the door. Just feed the harness through and go ahead and line up the mirror into its factory location. Hold it in place with one hand, grab a bolt and go ahead and line that up. Once you get all 3 bolts started, you go ahead and follow up with the ratchet and snug all 3 up. Once we get all 3 bolts snugged up and the mirror is nice and firm in place, we can then go ahead and reinstall the plastic trim bezel. Go ahead and line up the trim bezel. Squeeze that right into place. The next component you want to reinstall is the wiring harness. Go ahead and reconnect the harness. Take the door pin plug, snap that into place. All right, we're going to go ahead and grab our power dual lock switch. Make sure when you go to install this, it's going to fit the right way. You don't want to have anything reversed. Simply line that up. You should hear a click, like so. This little retainer tab here, I'm going to go ahead and snap that back into place where we originally found it. You bring that flat back down, grab your bulkhead connector, line that up, put it into place, and bring that bulkhead retainer back in. Now that we have the bulkhead connector hooked up, we're going to go ahead and reattach the door handle. Going to do so by installing the ball end into the back side of the handle. Pull the cable around, line that up, and snap it in. I like to pull up on the door lock itself, make sure it's in its up position. It helps me as a guide when I'm going to put this on. Once that lined up, you want to make sure that all your gaps are proper here, and go ahead and start pressing your door clips on. What we're doing right now is resetting all of the door panel pins in the door panel surround. Reinstalling, putting the 7mm screw up in the top. You can go ahead and snug that right up. Next, we're going to move to the 8mm screws on the bottom. Your final steps for installing the door panel would be to place your trim bezel, your bolt caps into place, and snap them in. Take care of the upper one here.